Those were the headlines that we're tracking for you this evening, but straight to the big story that we're tracking for you today. With over 240 Gen AI startups in India as of the first of this year, India now ranks 6th globally in its share of Gen AI startups. This, according to industry body NASSCOM. The report added that the growth was majorly fueled by the launch of 17 native Gen AI language models in India, a 4.6 times surge in Gen AI services. Ritu Singh is here with the highlights of that report. Ritu?
There's been a surge in the number of generative AI startups in India in the last 18 months or so, but it has not come without its challenges. There was a 3.6 times increase in the number of startups in this field from 66 at the start of 2023 to more than 240 now. But the funding to this sector has remained tepid, with just a 1.25 times growth since the start of last year. In fact, the cumulative funding to the sector as of now is now about $750 million. But 40% of the startups in generative AI have remained unfunded to date. In terms of revenue generation, NASSCOM finds that 75% of the startups reported revenue generation, but 80% of them reported revenues of less than $100,000. In terms of other trends as to where these startups are concentrated, unsurprisingly in the metros of Bangalore, Delhi, Mumbai, Hyderabad and Chennai, with Bangalore accounting for the largest share of more than 40%. Lastly, in terms of challenges cited by these generative AI companies, the number one challenge, of course, is the lack of patient capital, which is evident in the funding trends as well. Customer reticence as well as a lack of skilled AI talent have been cited as some of the key concerns.
3 out of 4 startups in this whole cohort of 240 startups that we studied are actually starting to generate revenue. So it's not about, build or grow at any cost. You're seeing revenue generation. Yes, the numbers are small. The ticket sizes are still at about 100,000 or so. But the fact that you have to focus on revenue from the beginning is something that we are already starting to see, which is, again, a very positive indication. What are some of the concern areas, right? I think despite this growth that I've talked about, you still see that India is 6th in the global ranking for generative AI, innovation, funding, startups, everything, right? And why is that? 2 reasons, right? One, the funding is still very, very low. I think the second is really the whole focus on access to market. So there is partnerships that we are seeing between startups and some of the enterprises. I think that is helping them. Some of them are going global while domestic market continues to be a strong focus. But I think the more we can see partnerships coming on, which give generative AI startups access to global customers to find solutions to accelerate their offerings, I think that would really help us build a much more mature generative AI offering.
All right, India.